Welcome back, everybody. Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And I am your host, Colleen Lindberg. And this is episode 30. And I cannot wait for us to step into this conversation. Christina and I met when I first moved to Costa Rica, and we just connected on all different levels. She is a fitness coach, just moving into owning the fact that she's also a business coach, which she's done almost her whole entire life, we're going to say. And just the stories that come through this and the energy, we did literally dive into the coaching industry and some of the like inauthentic things happening in the vibration there, all of the like phoniness, quote unquote, that's moving through the field. And it's not everyone, but there is a lot of people out there trying to make it in an industry that they have no experience in. And we deep dive into that as well. We talk about her current business in Costa Rica, how risks came about in her life, and stepping into the space of literally transitioning from Canada to here. She's also Canadian. And it's just a really cool energy. Plus, she's got a really great personality, and her and I laugh it up all the time. And I can't wait to share her energy with you. Because when I first met her, I was like, dude, I want to be friends with you. And you even hear me in here going, I had this like Instagram crush on her. I was like, you're like a celebrity on Instagram. And it's just so fun. And our relationship has been amazing and it keeps growing. And I cannot wait to share her light with you. She's proven success in the fitness industry. She's proven success in building an online brand. She's done it multiple times in her life in different avenues in different industries. So she's got a lot to share today, a lot of impact to make, and a lot of potency. So I cannot wait to share with you guys Christina today in podcast episode 30. Oh my God, this is awesome. Okay, guys, Christina and I have been just like jamming out in the back end. Like literally, I was like, shit, I wish I would have hit fucking record on this because I cannot wait to step into this space with her, this beautiful soul being that I met here in Costa Rica. And like just instantly, I was like, who is this woman? And I need to be friends with her. And literally, that's what happened. Like,
Feelings mutual.
oh,
Yeah, what a ride, eh? Welcome to Costa Rica.
what a ride. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, what's your IG? Or you started following me on Instagram. And then I was like, who the fuck is this woman? Like I was like all these professional posts, and she's like this fitness coach. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, tell me about you. So how about you tell people, like, obviously they've read the bio or I did the intro and stuff, but like, you've been in the fitness industry for a long time, doing that world, being an online coach. And I just love to hear, like, tell us and share some of the journey that you've been through over, like, how many years has it been even?
12 years been
Yeah,
working
long
online.
time.
Yeah, quite
Yeah.
a long time. No, it's been a ride. Like, let me bring you all the way
Let's
back.
go.
Like most people, I just wanted to be fit and I saw these people doing their thing. I'm like, how do I do that? So stubborn me, I don't hire anybody. I go and get certified as a personal trainer just so I know what I'm doing at the gym. So once I started doing that, I decided I wanted to start competing. I started doing bikini competitions in the bodybuilding realm. And I turned out I was really good at it. I started winning a lot. People started asking me to coach them. I started learning more on that route. And I was able to quit my management job that I had and start my own business doing online training. I did open a gym at one point. I had that for a couple of years. I got so busy doing online stuff. I was like, I
See
don't
you
need to do
later.
that with my time.
Yeah.
So, working online is pretty awesome. So then I went full time doing that. And that's what I've been doing for the past 12 years now. So it's
Yeah, and
been a
it's obvious. Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, but obviously it's been like you've had the ups and downs of the online world, learning
oh, for sure.
software, how to move it forward, and all of the
Yeah.
dynamics of stuff we all go through.
Yeah. Back when I first started, there was no guidance really. I'm sure there was, but like Instagram wasn't even a thing yet. Like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like you did not have Instagram coaches. You didn't have, the online business coach world that is out there right now with such a vigor, but it really was a trial and error for me. I learned how to make my own website. I did all my own marketing. Even when I was doing my gym at the time, I completely renovated myself. Like I'm a do it yourself kind of person.
Yeah. DIY girl.
Yeah, DIY. I don't know if I'm that great at the DIY, but I'm a self learner, so that's how I got my start in doing it. And then now recently, I'm starting to get into business coaching a little bit more. I'm actually kind of not really changing fields. I don't believe that I need to do that. multi-dimensional woman. So I can do
You sure are.
I refuse to niche.
Go for it. Okay, let's talk about this niching thing.
So like I was saying, I do online fitness coaching and I've been doing that for like 12 years. And now I'm starting to get into business coaching. I felt called to do it actually a couple years ago. And I didn't do it for so long because I thought I had to give up my online training business. And I was just not ready to do that. Like I still have clients that I've had for years. I still have them. And I was just like, I'm not ready to give this up. I really enjoy it. It's still something I'm really good at, and I just didn't want to quit it. So I hesitated starting business coaching because I thought I had to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And that really held me back. And honestly, I hate that narrative out there. I see why people like to do it because niching can be very important, but the narrow scope of it, I think, limits a lot of people and it holds people back from what they really want to do, because I know I'm not the only one that is extremely multi-dimensional and has lots of talent and can do multiple things and sell multiple things online. So eventually I said, fuck it.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I really want to get into this. I have the experience. I've owned and ran multiple businesses. Even here in Costa Rica, we have the restaurant, which we run as well. So I have some legs to stand on. I'm just not one of those business coaches learning from another business coach. Yeah. I'm actually a real life experience business coach. You know what I mean?
I love that you brought this up.
Please let me dive in.
Yes, I want you to dive in because this is important. Yeah, I vibrate the same way you do. So please go ahead and tell me about this.
And I feel like honestly, it's another thing when I started looking into business coaching more is that I was really put off by the whole community out there and how it's almost like a cult where all these business coaches follow all these business coaches to learn what they're selling to other business coaches. And then it's just kind of like a cycle that recycles itself. So it's like, you don't really have any business authority. You're just regurgitating what somebody else is selling. And for me, that's just ick. Like, I did not want to come across as that. And that also held me back because I see people talk about, oh, here goes another business coach. Like, first of all, calm down. There are some business coaches out there that have real life authority and know what they're doing. They have businesses that they've run successfully, and they actually have, put their feet down and done the work to get there, and not just taking another course or regurgitating in your own language to another business coach who's going to buy it. So I said, screw that. I'm going to do me. I have the authority to run, business coaching as well as online training. And I think they kind of go hand in hand as well, as I've been coaching people for 12 plus years. So yeah, it's an interesting industry. So I'm just in the beginning of my business coaching time, but I'm enjoying calling out some of the weird things that are happening.
Well, that fuels you as like a freedom loving woman that you are, stepping into that truth.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, anything that's not genuine or anything that is just, it feels fake to me. I don't resonate with. And I feel like there's a lot of people almost not being scammed so much, but they're not really seeing the full picture of how these people are operating. And it just gives me full ick vibes,
I totally agree with you. And we're seeing a lot of, and I say this because I got triggered last year by a coach that does similar work to me, but she's super surface level. Now I get and understand that some people need to be surface level in this world for their people. Okay, cool. Awesome. I don't want to judge them, but it fucking triggered the shit out of me. She was making like 50K months. And I was like, how the fuck can this bitch, in love and light, make 50K months, like with this, when she's not even getting people results, and it's all this smoke show almost, right? And it irritates me from someone who's authentic, just like yourself, that steps in the purity. Like, we really want to help, and not that they don't, but their impact is more so like, I'm driven by me and what you see of me, and listen to me, and this hoity-toity thing where both you and I vibrate in that field of like, how do we help these people and deliver the results and go above and beyond even the value that we're charging for to make sure that they achieve. And that shows up in all your worlds too.
Yeah, I remember when I first started getting into business coaching, I was like, looking around at other coaches that inspired me, same thing, like people having like 100K months. I'm like, wow. I'm like, look at this chick. She's got like 2,000 followers. I'm like, no way. I'm like, I can do that.
Yes.
But I actually purchased one of their programs and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I could not believe how basic it was. And I was like, I felt almost scammed, to be honest. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit. I was like, this is a whole thing where these people just kind of build this momentum and this cult following almost. And they're like, anything that they make, they just think people are just going to jump and grab it. And people do. And you know what? Props to them. They're good at marketing. They do know what they're doing in that retrospect. But the business authority just isn't there for me. And I feel like that's such a huge disconnect when it comes to business coaches, is like, where's the real life experience versus I know how to sell a program on stories. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's so much that you learn through failing and the trial and error, not even just online, but in real like brick and mortar businesses, that it's just so valuable. And I feel like people are just so wrapped up on the whole image on social media. And, somebody flashes a Louis Vuitton bag or goes shopping every week and spends all this money that they're making. Good for you. I'm happy for you that you're making that kind of money, but I do feel like it's almost like a manipulation for their audience. And I see it more and more often, and it's strange to me. So I don't know.
Well, and it's interesting too, and I love that you brought this forward, like the authority part. And I saw like some woman that I follow on Instagram that I kind of like. She's like a spiritual guide, and she does some like, like we vibe in the same energy, and she's got a podcast that's pretty well known. And she mentioned on the podcast one day about, if you like, coaches can actually coach in realms that they don't know anything about. And I went, excuse me, how is this even like, and I want to chat with you about this. I want to feel out your sense on it, because I'm like, how can we authentically help somebody move through an experience? Like, let's say you didn't have any fitness training at all, but you were coaching in the fitness industry, but that's okay because you're a coach and you have a different asset. How does this make any sense to the connection of what we're here? Like, if you were coaching a business, but you've never actually ran one, but it's okay because you have an asset as a personal trainer, but it doesn't relate to the clients in business. Like, I'm like, this, huh? So she was trying to just, yeah. Anyways, what is your sense on this? Yeah.
I think when people don't have the authority and don't think that there's anything wrong with not having the authority, it's because they've never actually had anybody with authority actually teaching them what to do.
Right.
And when you actually work with somebody who knows what they're doing and have gone through the process, it's completely different. Completely different. I mean, you can see experience, you can tell it's going to work. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of people disappointed by, going along with some of these business coaches and doing some of their programs, because it's just extremely surface level. It would be like me taking one weekend course, being a personal trainer, and then training somebody. And you know what? To me, I might have more authority than that person I'm training.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's going to elevate them to where they need to be, because I don't know. I don't have the experience.
Yeah.
You can take a weekend course on anything if you haven't actually done the work yourself.
Yeah.
Like, who are you?
Yeah.
You're just regurgitating somebody else's information from no place of authority.
Yeah. And like, obviously we have to start somewhere, which is totally different. If you have a desire to get into this industry, you have to start somewhere, but where is the authenticity for you? And where does it come into play? And then how are you marketing through an authentic lens, which is a whole different avenue?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's strange for me. Like, for me, I know, like, I've had years of experience opening and closing businesses. Like, I had a gym, I told you that. I have a restaurant here. It's always new challenges that bring forth, so many new learning opportunities. And, those are things that will make a good coach, is because you have to go through these things and you have to learn, you have to adapt. And even just running the restaurant for 1 year, this year we're doing things so much differently because we've learned how to do things better, more cost effective, even just managing the team in a different way. It's just, it's unbelievable. Like, somebody could have given me a book and I'd be like, oh, this is great, I'm going to know what I'm doing. You're not. It's real life experience that will make you figure it out. Whether you're a coach, learning and putting these practices into experience for yourself, that's fine. But I think you do still need to put some time under your belt to do these things that you're learning.
Yeah.
And then, adapt it for your clientele in a place where you've learned something and you've done it yourself.
Well, and this speaks to also you and your multidimensional self, and like that someone trying to keep you in a box. Like there's so many coaches out there that are like, sorry, you can only have one niche. No, you can't be a fitness coach and a business coach at the same time. And they're speaking that, and they're trying to get people to conform into this box. Like you can only have one product and that's all that you can sell and that's all you can move within. Where we obviously in human design are manifesting generators, which means like we need multiple things and the excitement, or else we're done and off of it anyways, and nothing will move through. But how do you feel in connection? Yeah. Yay for
Sparking
us.
my interest this week.
Yeah. How do you feel in connection with this message going through the collective? Like you mentioned it a little bit about niching, but like putting somebody in a box, like obviously too, like all your programs are customized. You would never be putting the same person, like different people through the same program, especially with different body types and all the things and knowledge and that you have. So I just like for you, because this is a big thing that I'm seeing a lot. Like people are coming into my world, so many business coaches are trying to keep them tight in these boxes when it's like fuck the box. But I'd love to hear your sense. Yeah.
I think it's really a detriment to people's personalities. People are missing the whole human connection of social media and being online. And they're like, I'm a robot and I'm just going to sell this. Why would I buy from you versus somebody else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're niching super, 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 super tight and you don't show anything else but that niche, like, I'm not resonating unless I'm 100% on this, I'm a pregnant woman trying to, like get fit through pregnancy before I have my baby. Like, could you imagine how like selective my audience would be if that's all I did? If that was my niche. And there's people niching down that hardcore, and it's kind of strange, but I feel like it's, again, regurgitated information going business coast to business coast. This is exactly what you have to do because this is what you have to do. Yeah. And a lot of these people, again, aren't thinking for themselves or learning and figuring out that, you can do both. You are multidimensional. Many people are,
Yeah.
and also show your personality, show things that you're interested in. The more you resonate with more people and people see that you're human and you do other things, the more that they're going to trust you, and the more that they trust you, the more likely they're going to buy from you. It's just people are missing that connection aspect and really niching down. I think it's hurting the industry that way, but I'm sure eventually people will figure it out. They might watch this and be like, oh, let's teach about being multidimensional.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah. I remember I was inquiring about a CEO kind of academy thing, and I shot the DM in. I was like, sure, give me some more info. First thing she said was, oh, what's your niche? She's like, first thing we need to do is niche you down. I was like, you lost me.
We're done.
I'm like, that's it. I'm like, and could you put any more exclamation marks at the end of your sentence? Like, come on.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
I'm the one that's like, it's like the whisper, right? And if you are hearing a whisper, it's in you, it's for you. So if you have 5 things that you're meant to serve within in that collective, then it's about how do we move the 5 things into the world? And maybe it's not all at once, but maybe it's like, okay, let's move through here and let's get that established. Let's get into the next phase, but it's never a limit. It's always it's always an expansion within the energy.
Sure. And I think expanding like that is just key. Like you're gonna gain more people. You're gonna have different clients that need different things from you, and different followers on your socials that are they'll resonate with you for different things. Not everybody's going to be like, oh, I need this, but oh, I might like this. And I think that's great. To help more people is obviously the goal.
Well, and that's why I have multiple ways that people can work with me, because not everyone's going to be a one-to-one client. They just won't. So like I have low ticket items that people can get into masterclasses, or they want to do programs, or they want to do like just the spiritual circle stuff. Like there's multiple ways, and I have to have that, or else I'm bored. I get into trouble, like I way too much leeway around me, I'm like, who's organizing this ship? I'm like, so I need it for my own sanity, but I also need it in the collective so people can get in wherever they want. So some people keep taking free stuff from mine, and I don't even care. Like, go and take all the free stuff that I have, go to my YouTube, go my podcast, like go like into the
Free
space.
stuff is so important, and everybody is like, oh, but I worked so hard on this. I want to make some money on it. Like my first program I'm working on, well, my program that I'm working on for my business coaching. It's kind of like it's called From Meh to Moneymaker. So let me just give you a little insight. I'm almost done it.
Tell us about it.
We'll go over a few things, but the fact of the matter is that I want to introduce it for free, because I think when you give things to people for free, they can give a little taste of what you're about, and the value. When you give people value on something like that, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, oh my goodness, that was awesome. Yeah. That's how you want people to walk away. And if you give them something for free, the next time you do something that might be charged and is down their alley, they're going to jump on it because they trust you.
Yeah.
So doing those free things, doing a bunch of different things is super important. But let me circle back.
Go to the beginning.
It's really kind of just the key things that can bring your online business to the next level. So it's like how to launch, because there is strategy behind it. A lot of people don't know this, and that is the main place where people fail. Even energetics, like some of the things that might be holding you back in the mindset, like money blocks is a big one, self-sabotaging. There's so many little things that you kind of need to clear through and get over so you can actually get to the next level. Even just creating content, you know what I mean? Like it's the way that you can capture people and talk to them and have people resonate with you. There's just so many little things that people aren't really taking advantage of, that in social media, you have this huge audience. And now with Instagram, for example, you have so many different tools you can use. You can do like reels, you can do stories, you can do lives, regular posts, if those still exist. I don't even
carousels.
Know. They're hot right now. I don't know for how long, because Instagram changes it up every 5 minutes, but it's ever changing. But it's something that when you learn the basics of how to, brand yourself properly and how to put your image out there onto the internet, there is a finesse way to do it where you can attract more people, you can build trust and authority again at the end of the day. So that's kind of what my Momentum Moneymaker is all about. It's kind of taking your online business, or if you have an idea for an online business, and telling you how to put it out there in a way that's going to attract clients for you.
Yeah, and I love this. And obviously you've done it with the fitness side, you've done it with the restaurant. You guys also have like a Not Your Mama's Retreat type of like collab movement in Costa Rica that you started from
multi-dimensional.
Yeah, from scratch. That like that's serving the energy. Plus now this is moving through your fields. And if we think about that and actually look at it, it's all in different industries. Yeah, there's a common theme, Christina, and and actually being able to move it forward. But there's also some dedication that you have, and you're taking risks inside of that space too, which I think a lot of people are maybe hesitant on. What kind of risks have you taken in the past, like even 3 years for your own self, or 5 years even? And it's gotten you to this exact point in time, like so many, right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's just even just pivoting online or just showing different different lights of yourself. You know what I mean? People are so used to seeing you as a certain way on social media. And so a lot of people are afraid to kind of go beyond that because they don't want to lose their followers, but that does happen. I lose followers all the time, but I'm also gaining a lot of people. And those are my people. The people that have been there 10 years ago, we might not be buds anymore. That's cool. We all move along. We all have different interests in life, and that's totally fine with me. But I'm looking at the people that are joining now, the people that have been with me for so long. And that's my motivation is like, you know what? Screw the ones. I don't really look at analytics a whole time because I'm like, why am I going to wrap myself up with who's coming and going?
Yeah.
I'm like, people are here. They're watching. I see you. You know what I mean? They might not always be liking or commenting. People barely do that anymore anyways. It's so strange the way that social media is going. But I think to be able just to put yourself up there and not worry about the grand scheme of how many followers do I have, or did they like this post, or, oh, I'm worried that if I post this at the exact right time and nobody's going to see it. I'm like, people see it. People who are your people will look for your stuff.
Yes.
And they'll keep coming back if it resonates with them. It is what it is at the end of the day. You're not going to have everybody love you, but you're going to have some people that do love you and that will resonate with you. And when you put whatever it is that you want to sell out there, they're going to buy it because they support you. So that's why being multidimensional and being okay with just like putting yourself out there in different ways, I think is super important. And a lot of people have that block where they're just like, oh, I'm afraid of what they're going to think, or it's just, and it's bizarre because most of them are strangers.
Yeah, seriously, right?
And the sad thing is there are lots of people that are like, oh, I don't want like my friends to see it. I'm like, if they're not your friends, if they're judging you with this, okay? Like stop thinking about what everybody else is thinking about you right now, because it's gonna hold you back for a long time.
Yeah.
Because people judge people. It's a fact of life. It's how you handle that and move forward with that for yourself that will, make you successful or not. So
Yes, and I so love this. And like let's lean into the confidence part, because I think that this, like, you exude it in who you are because you are yourself and you own that. Whether it's online and people see it in photos, people see you in your stories that way, or they meet you in person like I got to, not knowing who you were at the time, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like an Instagram celebrity." You know? I I was like, who is
I don't know about that.
girl? Like, and stepping into the space. And it was just so, I was like, oh my God, I'm kind of like having a celebrity crush over here. But but confidence, like Christina, because this is a big thing. Like people desiring to step in, now they're doing the work. Like let's say they go to your course, they're learning all the dynamics that you're moving through. And I know that you've talked to them about their mindset and moving that in, but this confidence piece sometimes is like the breaker almost, where like just people I've been seeing. How or what do you suggest, or what kind of fairy dust do you want to sprinkle on them right now to like hold this in their heart?
Well, I'm going to back you up way back before I started my fitness coaching. When I first started competing, I was actually super shy before I started competing. Like I'm more of an introvert now, but I'm, with my friends and whoever, I'm extroverted as well. I just, need to go refill my tank alone. Yes. But before I got into competing, I was actually pretty shy. I was body conscious, and not saying that you need to start working out to get this confidence, but what I needed to do to present myself on stage was something beyond I was used to. Like you have to go out there and like strut yourself, your stuff. You're kind of like a Victoria's Secret model on the runway at the end of the day when you're on the stage and people are judging you, like literally judging you on your physique, your personality on stage, everything. And from the beginning, I was like, you know what? Fake it till you make it. So it's literally one of those things, like I might not feel the most confident, but I'm going to put on this face when I'm on stage that, you know what, I am the most confident. And when you do that continuously, you start to not fake it as much anymore. It gets to be part of you. And you're like, okay, maybe I am confident. Maybe this is in me. It just needed an outlet to do it, or maybe I just kind of had to trick my mind first. And now I'm confident. And, even now I'm not always confident. Like it's not easy, obviously, being out there in social media and showing your face. Like I don't talk a whole ton on social media. It's just not really my jam. Yeah. But to be able to speak and to just speak your mind and hope people resonate with you, I think it's kind of like, you just got to put yourself out there, even if it's uncomfortable. Yeah. And just try it out. And another space with that is building that confidence through education. A lot of people go into things and say business coaching, for example, and they haven't done the work. They haven't put the experience that they need into it. So they kind of hold back. You know what I mean? They don't really know what they're doing. They know what to say, but they don't really know why. You know what I mean? So I think, building your education is super important. Experience, like putting action out there, that is what will build your confidence, because you need to have that education, you need to put it into practice, and you need to do it again and again and again, and it never stops. That's how you continue to have confidence, is that you just have to continue to try. You know what I mean? And what, people can see confidence as one thing. Somebody is out there talking all the time, but if you're out there talking all the time and you're just, I don't know exactly to say this, but there's a lot of people that talk that don't have much to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? But when you have something to say and it's something that you've learned and that you're confident in talking about, is a whole different realm of how you come across.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that is what speaks volumes. And once you start putting things into action and continuously doing it, that's what's going to build your confidence at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you know, like I can even look at my own journey, and like there would never be a time that I would ever have put out some of the content this year that I've put out ever, because I was
Yeah.
always body conscious, and it's not just about the physical form, but we're speaking into that. But now the ownership of who I am and the purity, whether I'm a size 2 or I'm a size 10, it's still me in this moment of time. And yeah, I can make choices, obviously, to move through and change some things, but it's not going to be overnight. So instead of me hiding for the next 6 months or maybe like 8 weeks working with you, like and getting that moving through. But instead of hiding, now it's about like, I'm going to show up anyways, and I'm going to keep maneuvering, and I'm going to keep growing with this as well. Like, I look at videos of me, like even 2 years ago, I'm like, baby Colleen, but baby Colleen was like 14 years ago even. And I'm like, I don't know what version of Colleen this is right now, but it's fucking hilarious watching videos of me from 2 years ago. Two
No.
years.
I read some captions from a couple years ago. I'm like, wow, I was going through something then.
Yeah.
I'm like, or maybe I just smoked a joint before I wrote that. That's also possible. But
Most likely it's the second one.
100%.
Oh my gosh. But that's the
But yeah,
thing. And I think that people are waiting for the perfect moment all the time, but it's never perfect.
there's no such thing as a perfect moment. Once you figure that out and you just go, okay, I'm going to start moving, it changes everything. Because once you start putting that momentum behind you and you start taking action, it changes things. Like you stop having that imposter syndrome because you're not an imposter anymore. You're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start becoming that person that is a person of authority. So you deserve to get that money from what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because you are where you need to be.
Yeah.
If you have money blocks, it's probably because you don't fucking deserve more money because you're not doing what you need to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you need to elevate yourself. You need to build yourself up, and you just need to do it. Like so many people just hold back because they're so worried. Guilty. I'm sure you're guilty, or you just you hesitate. And hesitation is just it's a killer. It's a pure killer.
It definitely is. And, and I know yourself as well, like we keep investing in things and we attend programs and classes and, we're watching mentors of ours move through, like I consistently have people in my world that I'm working with, and I'm in 3 like memberships every single month that I go to trainings on and stuff. And I desire that because I know that I am my own worst enemy. And if I am stuck in a loop, where am I going to get out of it unless I make a choice myself and move through, or I go get some more assets to be able to then leverage that and move it through. And like, I want to do the shortest, like quickest, easiest way to fucking get through life, because I've done the hard way before and I was amazing at it. Like I got all the badges and the fucking t-shirts and everything. Like, look at me for making it so fucking hard. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this bullshit.
Wait, where's all my money though?
Yeah, I know. Like, right? I know. Like,
you're welcome, bosses.
Yeah.
Not so much. Yeah, no.
So true.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing when you finally are just done with your own bullshit and you decide just to go for it,
Yeah. Well, I know this course came about too because of that, right? So you kept seeing a gap in the market. You kept seeing this gap consistently over time, and you were watching people throughout wherever and in conversations you were having that people needed this program because there was a big gap in the market. And then you finally said, fine, I'm going to fucking step in, even though you've been meaning to step in for a while, but it's all the perfect timing now anyways, that it'll be launching in the next little bit of time. So where were you seeing, like, I just pragmatically, this gap, we've talked about it a lot, I think, over here, but I'd love for you to just kind of fill it together so that it's complete.
And cut here now. Well, when I was putting together my program, I literally was asking myself the questions of what I needed to know in order to do this. I was like, what do I want to learn?
Yeah.
That's the gap. I'm like, okay, let me put it all together into one concise thing that is tried and true. I've learned tidbits from this person and I see how to do it this way, and I see what works because I've done it before. And so I'm taking all these little things and I'm putting it together in a package. That is what I needed.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm giving you.
Love it.
Because when you put something together that you've done and that you need, like everybody, not everybody, but most people, when they're getting into an online business, it's a whole different thing where you need to learn the little strategies of like how to launch a program, how to do even like a funnel. A lot of people don't even know the back end of things, for instance. You know, it's just all these little tiny things that I have questions about of how to launch and how to do it properly and really just how to put my business out there in the best way. So I'm like, okay, I'll just make that program myself.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to be available. So by the time the podcast launch, it most likely will be live. So we'll have the link in the show notes. So you guys feel inclined to that, you can go to it, grab it. And just knowing Christina in authority and also in her ethics and integrity, I can guarantee you it is exactly what she says it's going to be. So I'll put my stamp on it for you. So
I'll send you a copy when I'm done.
Oh, yay. I can't wait to go through it. Okay. And
You're like, hang on, we need to delete this comment of stamp of authority.
Take that back. Can I just do a new podcast? Whatever I said before from episode 30 is not relevant. I'm just joking.
You know, it's not even gonna air.
But we come together in all different ways. Like we have a certain vibration that we match in. We love to hang out. We like have great sense of humor. You know, we believe in different aspects of like the freedom dynamic and all those things. And I love you as a person, and I'm so happy that you are like here on this podcast sharing whatever wisdom is coming through. Yeah.
We'll have to do it again someday.
We definitely will.
We'll go through more journeys and we'll have more bullshit to chat about for sure.
We got lots we can speak on.
We're gonna get together. We'll just put the computer up. We're like, all right, let's just record our conversation.
Yeah, we should just go for lunch like we've been meaning to do for like 5 months and actually maybe record it. It'd be awesome.
We'll press play. We'll make sure the lighting's good. We're like, all right, let's do it.
Alyssa may not like it though, because she'd have to try and figure out how to get the geckos and the noise of the birds out of the podcast. But or maybe we just own it as like a live thing, you know, like
use the quality. We live in the jungle, okay? There's literally a crocodile next to me.
Pretty much how it happens.
We'll have to time it around the toucans. We all know how noisy they are.
Yeah. Well, you've had some pretty crazy spiders up your way, and I found a couple tarantulas dead in my pool this like last week, and I was like, I'm just so grateful you're not in my house. You know, like,
right?
It's like
found a scorpion. JP found a scorpion in our sink the other day. I was like, how'd you get in here?
It's interesting.
Like, well, it's small enough. He's like, maybe there's more. I'm like, don't say that.
Yeah, like we're okay.
So like that night I'm all paranoid. I'm like looking in all the corners. I'm like,
I literally have a flashlight that I use when I get up out of bed at night because I have no idea what the fuck is on the floor in this house. You know, like no clue. But this was a risk we both took. Like we decided to move from Canada, and granted, we both have online businesses, so we could technically work anywhere in the world. But you guys have been here quite a few years and got rooted, started up the company, like did the restaurant, have a couple other things going on. The challenge of that, like I'd love to just know, like in your mind, like you moved to a whole new country, we're feeling the vibe of the South, like way south, and like Toronto to Costa Rica, a little bit of a drive, you know.
Instead of looking for like scorpions, I'm like stepping around homeless people around my back patio.
Totally different vibe, but yet the same. You know? I know. Yeah.
No. I just we're kind of just sick of the bullshit at home. So it was March 2021 we came here, and it was still very much COVID here.
Yeah.
But not anything like it was in Toronto. Like in Toronto, I couldn't go to the grocery store without getting harassed for not wearing a mask. And by the way, we're right. So
yeah, I know. We were right.
In here, but it wasn't bad. Like when we came here, not a lot was going on. Like there wasn't any nightlife happening. The restaurants were open. Everything was closed by 10 o'clock though. You still had to wear a mask until pretty much last year at the banks and the grocery store. And you know what? Like, this is not my country. I did not want to be that person and be like, I'm not putting this on. Mind you, it did happen a couple times. Closer to the end. Once the president was like, no more. And I was like, he said it, I'm not wearing this. And I would go in, it would be like on my chin. But you know, that's okay, apparently. So I just didn't want to ruffle feathers being a guest in their country. So once they finally said no more, I was like, and I remember I went into Colono, our like home hardware type store for all of our non-local friends. And the girl had her mask on, and it was the day after the president said, no more masking. And I was like, no, he said it. And she was like giving me shit for not having it on. I said, no. I was like, I'm not wearing it. And she's like, da-da-da-da. Going the next day, everybody had it off because it was written in the newspaper. I'm like, you guys, like,
Yeah.
man. But it is worldwide. You get the same type of people everywhere. And I came here to get away from it all, and realistically I did. Like, you could still walk into most stores without it, you can go into restaurants without it. Like, most people just didn't give a shit. There's a few choice places that did, like I was saying, like the bigger stores or the grocery stores and the banks and stuff like that. But once it finally cleared here, it was like poof, back to normal.
Yeah.
And we literally opened the restaurant pretty much the week where they lifted the mandates for the closing time. So it was worked really well in our favor. So instead of having to be closed early at like 10, we're able to actually have our parties and stuff like that, which is extremely beneficial for us. So
yeah.
Yeah. But it's been quite the ride. Like, it's a huge change. I grew up in the country. My parents still live there, have horses, chickens, the whole thing. And, in my 30s, I kind of moved out of there, and big city life in Toronto. And you can do Toronto for a few years and you can see it all again and again. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever. I go in waves, or I kind of want to do new things every few years. So I'm just riding this wave. You know what I mean?
Pure Vida,
I can't
baby.
tell you where I'll be 3 years from now, but right now I'm here and I'm loving it. I'm just a little sweaty. I don't know if you can tell.
You glisten a little bit, but it's okay. Like, I don't think my powder works here even. Like, I just gave up on powder. And remember the Halloween party we had? I was like, fuck, someone needs to tell me to put powder on before we take pictures and like bright lights, because it's brutal. But I wouldn't
filter on it afterwards.
Yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything though. It's been such a beautiful experience. And now I've only been here 7 months. You've been here 2 years and a bit, like, and just grounding into that. But it takes grit. Like, it's just like starting up a business, and not even the business you started, like just even moving to a country that speaks Spanish, where we know a bit maybe, but we have to learn it. And it's just been an interesting transition. So how do you relate that to business, just to give the audience some feel as to this endeavor?
Yeah, well, Costa Rica is a very special place.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't get this because they don't live here, but it is super different to live here versus visiting. Like, things are a lot slower. You're always adapting to the pace of Costa Rica. You know what I mean? And I think it just lets you go, okay. It makes you relax a bit, and it makes you go, what do I really need to put my focus on right now, and why am I bothered by this so much? You know what I mean? It kind of puts things into perspective for you. And to relate that to business, I just think change is good. It's challenging, but challenges is what makes you a better person. That's how you grow in life. So whether it's starting a new business or moving to a different country, it's helping you expand as a person. And who are you if you're not expanding?
And thank you for that. And it's so funny, guys, is that literally at the beginning parts of this podcast, both of our powers went out. Now we live at like a half an hour from each other, so we're like, oh shit, I guess we're on the same grid. But literally, Christina got cut right off, like she left, and we're like, okay, let's get started again. This happens to us like on the daily, pretty much here.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. But it's just, there's always these little things, like getting your car fixed, like
getting parts
every day. Okay, yeah, I have a 91 Jeep Wrangler. She's an old girl. But you know what? Cars take a beating here. Like, the roads are crazy. Like, you need 4x4 everywhere. It's humid. There's salt in the air. It's rainy. It's damp. Like, cars are not, it's not a good, healthy environment for a vehicle here. It's wild to me. So number one, if you ever move to Costa Rica, have money for a car, because it's going to be your number one expense, hands down, in this country.
It will be. I'm about to invest in one. Like, by June, I will have my vehicle. Yeah. And then I'll come and be able to come and see you. Like, I'm coming to Dominical. Where the fuck are you? So then we'll do our lunches all the time. I know.
Road trip.
Yes.
Dodge. out of our grid.
Well, and people don't understand either. It's like you don't get financing here. You have to buy the vehicles outright. Like that's, and even homes, like it's very rare you can get mortgages. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a whole different environment, like everything. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing with business. Like we come up against different dynamics and need to shift through and adapt. And like when I got picked up and we got dropped off here, like the first day I was here, and my landlord's walking me around the property and telling me stuff. He's like, "Oh, by the way, you can't flush the toilet paper." And I was like, "What? Like, this is a fucking thing?" Like, that's a
Oh,
thing.
it's a thing, Colleen. Yeah, it's a thing.
I was like, "Where did
Yeah,
I
no,
move to?"
it's so strange. God, like I would say probably infrastructurally, the country is about 20 to 30 years behind.
Yeah.
Like we just got this highway that comes from San Jose. Like it was a dirt road 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's wild to me.
Yeah.
And then like it's a developing country. There's tons of people moving right now. It's growing like crazy. Unfortunately, like the employment rates are really low. People don't get paid a lot. Like that is
Yeah.
not really where it needs to be for the way things are growing, which is tough. It makes it tough for a lot of people, whether you're an expat moving here or you're just a local trying to find a job, that pays half decent. It's
Yeah.
just, it's not an easy place to live. But I think like with us opening the restaurant and just getting to know more people through, being business owners there, I've really learned to create more community. Like I used to always been like, I can do it on my own. Like I'm
Yes.
kind of a do-it-yourselfer, always do shit by myself because you know what? I'm going to do it right. I don't need to teach anybody how to do anything. I don't need your help. But now that I live here, I've learned that community is so important. You know what I mean? And it's wild. Like it's such a great place for that as well, because say Dominical, where my business is, it's just such a small knit community and it's not easy living here, like we're saying. And so sometimes you have to band together, even just encourage each other or help each other out. Like I'm friends with hotels. If somebody's looking for a hotel, you're going here. If they need a driver, my buddy's a driver, you're using him. If you want to go eat somewhere for dinner, you're coming to my restaurant. You know what I mean? Like we all work together so we can figure it out, because no, we can't go get a job.
No.
You can open a business, but
Yeah.
you know what? Like we're in the ebb of flow of tourists as well. Like that is a whole different realm. I did not even really think about opening a business here. Like I know it's a thing, but it wasn't like this business isn't something that we plan to do either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of learning the ebbs and flows, but really working together as a community to figure out how to manage this place, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a new norm, and I'm so happy you brought this up, is that we're not in it alone anymore. And maybe we're at home creating our programs and doing stuff, but it's the collective. It's us getting together like this on a podcast to share information. It's us coming together as a mastermind potentially, and putting all the heads together, because we all have an impact to make, every single one of us, in any way, shape, or form that is, whether it's in a restaurant or whether it's in a career or as a mother or whatever it is for people. And I love that you brought that up, because I really feel that vibrations moving through. We're finding unity. We're finding people that get it. We're finding people that want to do it together, and we're working it. Yeah.
What's great about a lot of the people moving to Costa Rica too is just a lot of them are sick of how their home country is doing things. So you have that commonality already. And so they see that, and you become a fast community just from having those things in common, because you left and you're going to try to make it work somewhere else because you just don't want to participate in what's happening back home.
Yeah.
And it really, I wouldn't even say it forces you to have community, but you get together and you realize that together you have this power to really make things work here. You know what I mean? And that's so valuable.
So I totally agree with you. So I know you and I can riff for like fucking ever. And we have in the past. So for this podcast sake, what would you want to share? Yeah. So obviously we're going to link up, if you guys want to get hold of Christina in any way, shape, or form, all of her social details and everything and how to communicate with her will be in the show notes. But what do you want to leave people with? Like, what would you want to close this off with, in whatever vibrational alignment you desire to move into? Speak it, girl.
Sure. Let's close it off with, some of the things that you think that you're not ready to do it anyways. You might not be ready to move to a different country. Fuck it. Go do it anyways. You know what I mean? You might not be ready to start that business do it anyways. Do what you need to do it. Learn, put together things, take action. Action is what will propel you in life to be who you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? There's so many people are hesitating and just sitting, and it's the same thing time after time after time. I have emails from potential clients from 5 years ago asking for me to train them. They didn't. Ask me 5 years later, can you train me? Didn't. Ask me again. And finally they did. Could you imagine?
Yes.
If they decided to take the leap when they first had that first instinct to do it. You know what I mean? Like your world will change, and you know what, you might fail. It happens. But you know what? Most likely you're going to learn, adapt, pivot, and just be amazing as something completely brand new. So I think it's just, take the risk. A lot of people are just sitting there, they're not doing it. So it's important to take the risk, believe in yourself. Anybody's capable. You just got to go for it.
Yeah, Victoria Washington, who I know that you follow, made a comment in one of our trainings the other day, and she said, it's not failure or challenge. We call it resources, new resources, because we learn through it all.
Oh my
right?
God. Yeah. Like I call it a failure because, some shit just doesn't work. But if you learn that doesn't work, you're still learning and you're adapting. Like you have to move through that. Yeah. There's going to be things that you try and things that are new, especially if you're an innovator. You're not the one just regurgitating somebody else's information. You're doing it yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? You will have your own resources who you're going to learn from, but you're going to do a lot of things on your own because you know what? You are being called to do so. And sometimes things work exactly how you want them to. And sometimes things don't. So you learn how to adapt and to manipulate it and change it into something that will. And that has so much value.
Yes. And I love this. And I think this is a great way to end. Christina, always appreciate your time and your beautiful spirit being in my world. And I promise we'll get that lunch created and aligned.
Thank you so much for having me, Colleen.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Combo.
Yeah, it was so great. I loved it.
All right. Pit stop.